Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to lecture number 31 of the course Introduction to Computer and Programming. In this lecture, we will see console I/O formatting, how we can produce formatting on the text that is appearing on the screen, and then sprintf function and scanf functions. And then we apply these formatting to our program जो हमने last lecture में बनाया था, database management program, जिसमें हम display के function के through we are displaying the record, and these records are displaying not in the formatted form. They are unformatted, means that जो name for example display हो रहा था एक proper line में display नहीं हो रहा था. ठीक है, we will see what is unformatted output and what is the formatted output. And then I will give you the introduction of library, what are the different kinds of library, and then we will make a static library in dev-c, and हम अपना जो project जो हमने बनाया है database management program, we will convert that program into a library, and then we will call the functions from the main. In the previous lecture we have seen a database management program. उसमें stage 1 में हमने देखा था a simple program, only the main function that contains only the main function, एक बड़ा सा main function है, उसी के अंदर आपने सब कुछ लिखा हुआ है. And then stage 2 में इसको हमने change किया. The stage 2 is it includes other function, for example add record, display record, modify record, delete record. We include these functions as well. Then in stage 3 we include functions. We change the functions and the function prototype, और इसमें हमने किया यह था कि we pass the file pointer to each of these functions. And then in stage 4 we write a query function, and for example query record, and then query by age, query by salary, and query by name, and we have write all the query function for age, query function for age, that is we take the input from the user, and then we display the menu greater than, less than, or equal to the input age, and जो भी user में से press करता है उसके accordingly the record is displayed. And then I leave the query by salary and query by name up to you, that you should implement those functions and incorporate in that program. In today's lecture we will see what is I/O formatting, sprintf and scanf functions, and then we apply the I/O formatting in database management program. Then we'll see what is a library and static library, specifically static library and dynamic library, and how to make C static library using dev-c++. जो हमारा editor है, how we can use that editor to make a static library. Console formatting. The screen and the keyboard together are called console. Screen means जो आपके पास जो black color की जो screen आती है, when you execute the program that screen appear, so that in the keyboard is usually called the console. Console I/O function can be further classified into two categories, formatted and unformatted console functions. This is a unformatted output. So अगर आप इसको table की form में consider करें, you have a name, roll number and CGPA, 3 fields, and this is one record, and this one record contains 3 fields. The name is Ali, roll number is 102, CGPA is 3.85. Now this CGPA should be under this heading CGPA. ठीक है, इसी तरह से रोल नंबर को रोल नंबर के नीचे होना चाहिए, नेम को नेम के नीचे होना चाहिए. सो नेम के नीचे है, बट रोल नंबर और CGPA और रोल नंबर जो है वो रोल नंबर CGPA जो हेडिंग है उसके नीचे नहीं आ रहे रिकॉर्ड्स के. ठीक है, सो द फॉर्मेटेड आउटपुट इज लाइक दिस. Now this is a very formatted output, and you can clearly read each and everything in this formatted output, right? Last time हम जब प्रोग्राम रन कर रहे थे, so हमारे पास वो इस तरह से रिकॉर्ड अपीयर हो रहे थे unformatted output में. ठीक है, in the last lecture. But now we will learn in this lecture how we can format the output, and then we apply those formatting in the project. Console I/O function. Now formatted functions are for character, for integer, for float, and for string. They are scanf, these are the input function, and the output function is the printf function. So these are formatted function. That means you can format the output. आप अपने मुताबिक उसको formatting कर सकते हैं. But unformatted functions are, for character it is get ch, get che, get char, these are the input, and put character, put ch, these are the output function. So इसमें आप formatting नहीं कर सकते. Wherever is the cursor, it just places the character there. ठीक है? And for the integer and float, there is no unformatted function. For string, the input function is getS and putS is the output function. So putS के अंदर भी आप formatting use नहीं कर सकते. It just print the string on the screen where the cursor will be. Formatted console IO function. So हमारा concern formatted function के ऊपर होगा, and then we will see how we can use these formatted function to format our output. Until now we haven't used it unless just एक जगह हमने use किया है where we write we want to display the floating point value and we write 0.2, right? So we want to, so %0.2f in the printf we have used this. This means that we just want only two digits after the decimal should be displayed instead of 6 digits. So by default it displays 6 digit. So the general form of printf function, you know the general form, it is formatted string and the list of variable. So ये जो red में चीजें हैं, you have to replace these things. Here you have to write formatted string, कोई भी आप string लिखेंगे, that is going to be displayed, and you have the list of parameter. If you want to display the value of the parameter in the formatted string, you have to mention those variable in the list of variables in the printf function while calling the printf function. ठीक है? Now formatted string contains characters that are simply printed as they are. जो भी कैरेक्टर आपके पास फॉर्मेटेड स्ट्रिंग में आ रहा है, जैसा कैरेक्टर आ रहा है वो एज इट इज प्रिंट हो जाएगा. कन्वर्जन स्पेसिफायर दैट बिगिंस विद %, जो %साइन के साथ कन्वर्जन स्पेसिफायर प्रिंट हो रहे हैं, यू कैन यूज दीज एज वेल इन द फॉर्मेटेड स्ट्रिंग, एंड द एस्केप सीक्वेंस दैट बिगिंस विद \sign. So this is the program, very simple program, in which we have a variable, integer variable avg whose value is 346, and the floating point variable is per, whose value is 69.9, and we are going to print a message average is equal to 346, and in the new line then percentage is equal to 69.2. We are going to display these things. So in the printf function we have a formatted string. So this red, the thing is that is shown in the red text, red color text, inside the inverted comma, this is formatted string, and here we have a list of variables, comma separated list of variables. We are going to display the value of two variables, so we have two variables over here. Now this formatted string contains character, so these are the character printed as they are. So average is equal to space, ये as it is print होगा, percentage space equal to space, ये as it is print होगा. Then we have %sign for variable values. So %sign use हो रहा है %d and %f, and then we have escape sequence. There's one escape sequence that is /n. So that is not printed as it is, but in fact the cursor is brought into the new line, and there it prints the rest of the text. So this is the format of the general form of the printf function. We have a formatted string and list of variable, or formatted string में we have characters, we have escape sequence \, started with \, and then we have a conversion specifier starting with %sign. Format specification. So %d, %c, and %f used in the printf are called format specifier. Format specifier are used to print the value of the variables on the screen. So they tell printf function the type of the value of a variable, कि वो जो variable है जिसकी value print करनी है उस variable की type क्या है, either it is integer, float or character. C language provide following optional specifier in the format specification. This is dd. Digit, D stand for digit. So if you have 2 digit dot 2 digit, you can use this thing with the format specifier. and these are optional. It's up to you whether you want to use it or not. So let's see what that stands for. So first, to this digit on the left side of the dot. So this stands for digit specifying field width, कि वो जो वैल्यू प्रिंट करने जा रहे हैं उसके फील्ड की विड्थ कितनी होगी. सो इट कुड बी पॉसिबल दैट विड्थ आई अरेंज द विड्थ 10 and then the values going to be printed contains only 3 digits. So that's perfectly fine. ठीक है, or 4 digit or 5 digit or 1 digit, or maybe the value contains 10 digits as well. ठीक है. And then we have a dot that is separating field from precision, and then after dot we have digit. So this digit specify precision. We could have a negative sign with this number. So negative sign 3.7, for example 7.3 minus, or we can write without minus 7.3, then this means that the field space contains 7 character and the precision is 3. That means कि decimal point के बाद only 3 digits are going to be displayed for that value. And if we have a negative sign, it means that sign for left justification. So left side पर आप उसको justify कर सकते हैं, otherwise वो by default right तरफ justify करेगा उन सबको. ये मैं आपको बताऊंगा what is left justification and what is right justification. So this is the optional specifier that is used in the format specification, और फॉर्मेट स्पेसिफायर में यूज़ होता है. ये फॉर्मेट स्पेसिफायर मीन्स के परसेंट और एफ के दरमियान ये 2 डिजिट्स डिजिट डॉट डिजिट यूज़ हो सकता है. परसेंट डी के दरमियान डिजिट यूज़ हो सकता है, क्योंकि परसेंट डी इज़ द इंटीजर वैल्यू. देयर इज़ नो नीड फॉर द प्रिसीजन हेयर, राइट, बिकॉज वो डिजिट 1 होगा या 2 होगा. 2.5 इज़ नॉट एन इंटीजर, इट्स अ फ्लोटिंग पॉइंट वैल्यू. ठीक है. सो फॉर डिजिट्स यू कैन जस्ट हैव 1 digit, राइट. सो परसेंट let's say 10D. So the length of the field for this digit is 10. If you write minus sign, it will justify that digit value that is going to be printed on the screen from the left side. If we won't put negative sign over here, then that value will be printed, that value will be right justified. Now let's see the example program 1. So this is an example program. So we have integer weight whose value is 63. In the first printf we print and it prints like this. So weight is 63 kg. Now here we haven't specified the length of the field. हमने specify नहीं किया field length, ठीक है, because there is no digit between percent and d. ठीक है. But in the second printf we specify percent 2d. Now this 2 stands for the length of the field for that digit. कौन सा डिजिट? जो परसेंट डी के वैल्यू जहाँ पे प्रिंट होगी, परसेंट डी की जगह जिसकी वैल्यू प्रिंट होगी उसकी लेंथ क्या है? 2 है. किसकी वैल्यू प्रिंट होगी? वेट की वैल्यू प्रिंट होगी. सो वेट वैल्यू कंटेन्स 2 digit, so the output will be same 2 digit. And then in the third printf we specify the length is 4, the field length. So field length क्या है? 1 2, ये 2 है. By default भी 2 थी because उसमें 2 digits ही थे. Now the field length is 4, so we have 1 2 3 4, and the value will be justified, will be right justify. Value उन 4 spaces के right side पे justify होगी. ठीक है. Left side पे justify नहीं होगी, it will justify on the right side. So that will be the output. So you have 2 spaces over here. So these are the 2 spaces that appear on the right side. ठीक है. So 1 2 3 4, length of the field is 4 because you specify 4 over here, and the value will be printed on this space. But कहाँ पर प्रिंट होगी? लेफ्ट जस्टिफाई या राइट जस्टिफाई? इट विल सी द साइन. इफ देयर इज नो साइन दैट मीन्स पॉजिटिव, सो इट विल जस्टिफाई द वैल्यू फ्रॉम द राइट साइड. सो राइट साइड पे उससे लिखेगा वैल्यू को. अगर मैं यहाँ पे माइनस का साइन डाल दूंगा तो 63 यहाँ पर लिखा आएगा, 2 स्पेसेस यहाँ पर आएंगे. ठीक है. Next is field length is 6, so it will be like this. So 1 2 3 4 spaces and 2 spaces for the digit 63. So the field length is 1 2 3 4 5 6, and you have 2 digits here, and they are justify, right justify. Why? Because there is no negative sign over here. 6 के साथ कोई negative sign नहीं है. In the next printf we have minus 6d. So minus 6, अब हमारे पास इसमें negative sign appear हो गया है. Now space will be 6 60 इस प्रैक्टिकली स्पेस एलोकेट होगी, फील्ड की लेंथ 60 है, बट द वैल्यू विल बी लेफ्ट जस्टिफाई, दैट इज लाइक दिस. Why it is left justify? Because we have this negative sign over here. तो जब भी नेगेटिव का साइन होगा, वैल्यू विल बी जस्टिफाई from the left side. If there is no negative sign, means the value is positive, then the value will be justified from the right side. So this will be the output. वो जो मैंने बॉक्सेस डाले थे जस्ट टू उसको इजीली कैप्चर करने के लिए कितनी स्पेसेस आ रहे हैं, कितनी कैरेक्टर की स्पेस आ रही है, ठीक है. नाउ लेट्स गो एंड सी द प्रोग्राम. So here's the program, and let's compile and run it. So this is the output. So we have field length is 2 over here. We didn't mention the field length. So जितने digits होंगे उतने ही appear हो जाएंगे. So यहाँ पे हमने field length 2 mention की थी, so 2 ही digits थे, दोनों appear हो गए. यहाँ पे हमने field length 4 mention की थी, so this is space for digit 1, second space, third space पे digit आ गया, fourth space पे भी digit आ गया. Then we have 4 spaces and 2 spaces covered by these digits. This is the field length with 6, and this is the field length with 6 with minus sign, so it justify the value on the left side. So ये जो 6 spaces हैं, that is the field length, यहाँ से लेकर यहाँ तक 6 spaces, और इसमें अब कहाँ पर justify करना है, left के साथ, तो वो left के साथ, left justify mean कि it start from the left side, right justify mean it start from the right side, right? So let's say the field, इसकी digits की length जो है वो 637 है. Now let's see what is the output. Okay, even if we change the value, but if the field length we mention is 2, and the digit value increases the length of the field, it shows those values. So here we said that the field length is 3, but the length of the digit or the digit contains by this integer value is 3 digits. So वो तीनों के तीनों digits appear हो गए. Now this space is 4, 1 space, second, third and 4. Other one is the 6, space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is space 6 with negative sign, so ये left justify है. Another example, now we are, here we have the length of each field. So this 10 specify the length of each field. एक field की length क्या होनी चाहिए, that is 10. So इस value की length क्या होगी, 10. Second value की length 10 होगी, third value की length 10 होगी. And there is no negative sign, so the values are left, right justify, sorry, ठीक है. So कहीं पर negative sign नहीं है, so the values are right justify. If there is a negative sign, then the values will be left justify. And the other thing is, this is a precision. So जो 1 के साथ है, that is the precision, 0.1. That means कि इस value में अगर जितने भी decimals आ रहे हैं, आपने just point के बाद एक digit को print करना है. इस decimal notation के बाद एक digit को print करना है, that what 1 stand for. So अगर वैल्यू है 5.59, तो यहाँ पर ये एक डिजिट को प्रिंट करेगा, ठीक है. So the output will be, let's say we have, this is the number of column, I just put the number of column, this is the 0th column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are the 10 column. So that is the length of the field for the first value, 1, 2, 3. So 3 fields आ गए हमारे पास. हर fields की length क्या है, 10 है. कहाँ पर specify किया, यहाँ पर printf function के अंदर. ये चीज़ आपके पास print नहीं होगी इस तरह से 0 to 9, 0 to 9, 0 to 9. ये just आपकी अपनी understanding के लिए, आपकी understanding के लिए, हमने अपनी understanding के लिए यहाँ पर output में show किया ये चीज़, ठीक है. So this will be the output. So it will write the values in this field. So this 10 field, 10 जो length का जो field है, इसमें जो वैल्यू प्रिंट होगी that is 5.0, and that value should be right justify, because यहाँ पर कोई नेगेटिव साइन नहीं है, तो वो राइट साइड पे जस्टिफाई हुई है कि वो राइट साइड पर अपीयर हो रही है बजाय कि वो लेफ्ट साइड पर अपीयर हो. इफ यू पुट अ नेगेटिव साइन ओवर हियर, देन दैट वैल्यू विल बी प्रिंट ऑन द लेफ्ट साइड, राइट. एंड द सेकंड वैल्यूज दैट विल बी प्रिंटेड लाइक दिस, लेफ्ट जस्टिफाई, राइट जस्टिफाई, सॉरी. लेट्स गो टू द प्रोग्राम. लेट्स से इट इज 5, 6. Now it just print 5.6. It round off this number, so this is 5.56. But you said that after decimal notation, print only 1 digit. So after decimal notation, we have 2 digits. So 5, 6. उसने इसको round off कर दिया, it becomes 6. So the value is 5.6. ठीक है, उसने 5.6 बना दिया इसको. और if we say then let's see what will happen. So it makes it 6. So 5.98, it is 6.0. But if I just put one notation, then it will just print that value. तो 5.9 को प्रिंट कर देगा. 5.9. नाउ ये जो स्पेसेस हैं 10 स्पेसेस हैं. अब 9 के बाद यहाँ से स्टार्ट होके 5 तक 10 स्पेसेस आ रही हैं. उसमें वैल्यू लिखी हुई 13.5. इस फील्ड की लेंथ क्या 10 है, वैल्यू क्या 13.5 एंड दैट वैल्यू शुड बी राइट जस्टिफाई. सो वो राइट साइड से 1 2 3 4 स्पेसेस ने यूज़ कर लिए. ठीक है, एंड सो ऑन. लेट्स से if I put a negative sign over here with the first printf, not the second. See the difference of the values कि values किस तरह से appear हो रही हैं. Now they are appearing like first printf में values जो justify हैं वो left justify है, second printf में values justify हैं वो right justify है, because there is no negative sign, right? So if I write over here 2, decimal के बाद 2 नंबर आए तब क्या होगा. Now 2 numbers are appearing after decimal. ठीक है, in the first printf. If I put 9.8, then it won't make it 6. It is 5.98 because we have a space for 2 digits. ठीक है, तो उसको round off नहीं करेगा. So this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So 1 2 3 4 5, this is 5th space, 7 8 9 10. Sorry, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So 5 digits हैं, ये 4 digits हैं. So यहाँ से फील्ड स्टार्ट हो रही है लेंथ और यहाँ पर ख़त्म हो रही है इस जगह पर. ठीक है, then we have one space over here. हमने ये भी स्पेस रखी हुई है कि ना. So that space is this one, यहाँ पर अपीयर हो रही है. ठीक है, अगर ये स्पेस नहीं होगी तो 13 बिल्कुल यहाँ पर स्टार्ट होगा 1 के साथ इस पॉइंट पर से. ठीक है, थर्ड एग्जांपल. नाउ वी हैव कैरेक्टर, अरे ऑफ कैरेक्टर, नेम 1, फादर नेम 1, नेम 2, फादर नेम 2. ठीक है, सो नेम 1 है, नेम 2 है और दोनों के फादर नेम्स भी अपीयर हो रहे हैं. बट नाउ हमने फील्ड की लेंथ रख दी है 20. नाउ ईच स्ट्रिंग, हर स्ट्रिंग है उसके फील्ड की लेंथ क्या है 20. इधर भी फील्ड की लेंथ क्या है 20 कैरेक्टर्स. 20 कैरेक्टर के अंदर कितने कैरेक्टर आने हैं, नेम 1 के TARIQ 5 कैरेक्टर्स आने हैं. जस्टिफिकेशन किस तरह से होगी, लेफ्ट राइट जस्टिफाई होगा बिकॉज देयर इज नो साइन ओवर हियर. सो द आउटपुट विल बी इफ वी हैव दिस 0 to 9 and 0 to 9, so these are the 20 space for 20 letters और कैरेक्टर्स. यहाँ से यहाँ तक 20 लेटर्स के लिए, यहाँ से यहाँ तक 20 लेटर्स के लिए. सो तारिक विल बी अपीयर ओवर हियर, लेफ्ट जस्टिफाई होगा. इस दिस स्पेस फॉर द नेम 0 to this 9 and here the name will be left right justify. Similarly this is the space for 20 letters, that is space for the father name, and the father name is also, F name is also right justify, and so on. Now let's see the example. So अब नेम बड़ा है या छोटा है, आपने जस्टिफिकेशन सेट कर दी कि वो राइट होनी चाहिए या लेफ्ट होनी चाहिए. इट्स अप टू यू. Now let's compile this program and execute it. So this is the output. So 20 spaces हैं और इसमें justification इस तरह से हो रही है. Now let me write those spaces as well. मैं spaces को भी लिखता हूँ. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So 0 to 9 is 10. Right. और इसको नेगेटिव साइन डाल देते हैं, -20 let's say. Now let's see what will happen. Now you can see 0 to 9 we have 20 spaces. ठीक है, और 20 स्पेसिस के बाद 0 to 9 another 20 स्पेसिस फॉर द फादर नेम, और वो स्टार्ट हो रहे हैं यहाँ पर. ठीक है, तो दिस इज़ फॉर्मेटेड आउटपुट. ये ऐसा नहीं है कि मुजफ्फर यहाँ से स्टार्ट हो रहा है, मुजफ्फर खान, और अली जो है अहमद यहाँ से स्टार्ट हो रहा है. अलाइन नहीं है. सो फॉर्मेटेड डाटा मीन्स इट इज़ अलाइन डाटा, एक ही लाइन के साथ जस्टिफाई हुआ होगा, या राइट होगा या लेफ्ट साइड पर जस्टिफाई होगा. ठीक है, इफ यू रिमूव दिस साइन and put one space over here, one space over here, then let's see what happened. better to put the so सेकेंड वैल्यू जो है वो जस्ट जस्टिफाई हो रही है राइट साइड पे, ठीक है. फर्स्ट वैल्यू लेफ्ट साइड पे जस्टिफाई है, फर्स्ट वैल्यू राइट साइड पे जस्टिफाई है, जो सेकंड है फादर नेम दैट इज जस्टिफाई ऑन द लेफ्ट साइड. नाउ यू सी द स्पेस ओवर हियर. Why the space is over here? Because of the space we have put in the printf function. So this space and this space that is appearing over here. If we remove that space, then let's see what will happen. Now there is no space over here, ठीक है. But आप इसको भी left align कर सकते हैं. If you put a negative sign over here with the name, now this is left aligned and this is also left aligned, ठीक है. Now sprintf and scanf functions. sprintf write the output to the array of characters. printf output लिखता था standard output पे, that is monitor, and sprintf that is string print and it writes the output to the string. sprintf कहाँ पे लिखेगा? स्ट्रिंग पे राइट करेगा कैरेक्टर अरे ऑफ कैरेक्टर्स. और printf फंक्शन इट राइट्स द आउटपुट टू स्टैंडर्ड आउटपुट दैट इज मॉनिटर. This is the syntax of the sprintf function. We have a string array of characters, then output string. अब output string में we have %s, %d, %f, or we can write anything, ठीक है. So it will write all those things over here. यहाँ पर आप जो भी printf के अंदर लिख सकते हैं यहाँ पर आप मेंशन कर सकते हैं, ठीक है. So we have first is the string, second is the integer, and third is the floating point value, that is the decimal value. Let's go and see the program. So इन तमाम variables की value इन जगहों पे print होंगी and it will make a string बन जाएगी and that string will be written on str string, ठीक है. So sprintf function is used to write group of character or write the output to string or write the output in string. So जो भी output इसकी आ रही है एक string की form में आ रही है, it write that string on that string str, ठीक है. Okay. In this program we have three variables, age, name and CGPA. We initialize the value, age को हम initialize किया 21 के साथ, we initialize the name with Ahmed and we initialize the CGPA with 3.14. Now we have a string whose length is 20 that is able to accommodate all of these three variables value. Then we have a printf function, we print the values of these variable, and then we have sprintf function, we are going to print the value of these variable in a string str, and then again we have a printf function and here we are going to display the value of this string str. So let's say if we don't have this fprintf function, then what will happen? So it writes some different character because we haven't initialized this str string. Let's say I will uncomment it and compile it, execute it. Now it print the same thing. सबसे पहले जो हमने प्रिंट किया था वो तीनों वेरिएबल्स की वैल्यू डिफरेंट अलग अलग प्रिंट की थी. दैट इज इन द फर्स्ट लाइन, इन द सेकंड लाइन वी प्रिंट द स्ट्रिंग. हमने जो भी str स्ट्रिंग की वैल्यू थी उसको प्रिंट किया था %s के साथ. सो उसमें वैल्यूज क्या थी? Ahmed, 23 एंड 3.14, राइट. Okay, we can write like this as well, I think 0.2. So value जो write की है उसने वो 2 decimal notation के साथ write की है, ठीक है. So उसको यहाँ पे as it is print कर दिए, right. Let's go to the slide. Then we have scanf function. Now scanf function is used to read the content input by the user, that is standard input, that is कीबोर्ड से वो रीड करता है. कीबोर्ड में आप जो भी वैल्यू जो भी लेटर प्रेस करेंगे that can be read by using scanf function. And what is fscanf function? Fscanf function read the value from string and store it in a variable. So sprintf जो function काम करेगा, read the values and write the values with these type in string here. And sprintf function, it reads the value from str. The type of the values is this one, and here we have memory addresses like what we have in scanf function. So the syntax is same, we have memory addresses, but here it reads the input from str, that string. Now let's go and see the same program. So scanf functions read the value from the string and write those value in the memory that is allocated for a variable. So %s पहले read करना, फिर %d, फिर %f, and write %s over here in this memory address, write %d type value in AND A, and write %f type value in AND C. Then we can print those values. So in this program we are first printing the values name, age, and CGPA. Then we write printf function and we print the string. Then we are going to read the content of that string and write it in variable n, a, and c. And then we are printing the value of NAC. So NAC की value यहाँ पर इस stage में that should be equal to the value that is printed by this printf. ठीक है, इन दोनों की values जो है वो same होनी चाहिए, इस printf की और इस printf की, इन दोनों printf की values जो है वो same होनी चाहिए. Let's go and see the program. Let's compile and execute the program. Okay, the values are same. First printf is %s, %d, %f, that is this one. Second printf is %s, that contains all the values, and third printf is this one. Now I think it writes /n as well, because here we have /n. This /n that will also be written on the screen on the sprintf function on the string. So वो इन तमाम को write कर देगा string के अंदर, तमाम characters को. So the first is the name Emma, second is the age, that is 21, and third is the CGPA, that is 3.14. So it write all those things in the string str with the new line character. So it also write \n in the string str. So when you print the string, so वो तमाम के तमाम letters को print करेगा. When it encounters /n, it will put the cursor in the new line. ठीक है, वो cursor को नई line पे ले आएगी. That's why the cursor comes over here. वो जहाँ पर आया था, यहाँ पे नई line आ गई. And then in the new line, you read those values, then print it on the screen. So let's say if we remove this new line character, then what will happen? Now it print all those values like this. Okay, so scanf function is used to read the content from the string. Okay, what if we assign like this? Okay, now let's see whether it works or not. तो हमने स्ट्रिंग को इस तरह से इनिशियलाइज कर दी है. Oh, we cannot initialize like this. We have to write like this. Okay. So it reads those values. No. Seems like some problem. Okay, the thing is that this should be the integer value comes first and then the CGPA floating point value, because first it reads string, second it reads integer, and then floating point value. Now let's check it out. Okay, now it works perfectly fine. पहले जो है हम floating point value को पहले लिख रहे थे and we are writing the integer value after that, but read करते हुए हम इंटीजर को पहले रीड कर रहे हैं और फ्लोट को बाद में रीड कर रहे हैं. सो इनका सीक्वेंस सेम होना चाहिए. जिस सीक्वेंस से जहाँ पर है उसी सीक्वेंस आपके पास जहाँ पर भी होनी चाहिए sprintf में, और उसी सीक्वेंस से अगर आप इनिशियलाइज करते हैं तो जहाँ पर भी होनी चाहिए. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द sprintf and scanf function. This means that if we have a string that only contains integer values, we can easily convert that string from that string to integer value using sprintf function. Let's see the exercise program. Write the definition of the function int getInt. So the return type of the function is integer, name of the function is getInt, and we are passing a memory address to that function, which would convert a numeric string pointed by a pointer s into integer. like the numeric string is 1786, and we get this function return us 1786 as integer value, not the string. Let's go and write that function. सबसे पहले we have to write the prototype of the function. Int get int character static semicolon character string is equal to, let's say the string is 9562, that is the string, and in the printf function we will call this function and display that value %d/n comma get int, and my base address of that string is string. Now we have to write the definition of that function. Definition क्या होना चाहिए? Yes, we can use scanf function, get int. So scanf function can be used over here. scanf s से रीड करना है, क्या रीड करना है, किस टाइप की वैल्यू, %d टाइप की वैल्यू रीड करनी है, और कहाँ पर राइट करनी है, x में राइट कर देनी है, return x. Now let's compile the program. Oh, there's a semicolon. S undeclared. Okay, it's P. It's not S, it's P. Goes, run the program. Seems like some problem in the program. We are accessing the memory area that is not allocated for our program. So that kind of thing produce such errors. Let's go and see it. Okay, in the scanf function we have to write AND x, not just the x. Like in the scanf function we write AND x, so in the scanf function we have to write AND x. Let's compile and execute. Now it compiles and returns you value, integer value 9562. So एक integer value आपको return कर देगा. ठीक है? How we know the integer value? Because we are printing it like this. ठीक है? And that function get int return variable x. That is an integer variable, right? Now let's see what is a library. A library is a package of code that is meant to be reused by many programmers. So we have a set of code and that can be reused by one programmer, or you can use it, your friend can use that code in his program as well. So that is a set of code and you can use the functionality of that code in your program. Like we have a printf function. So where is the definition of printf function? It's in the C library, built-in C library that contains the definition of this printf function, and it just gives us an interface that is a function call to use that functionality. And what is the functionality? The functionality is that whatever we write inside the printf function in the inverted commas, it will be printed on the screen, except that we have some format specifier and escape sequence that have the special meaning for the C compiler. So we know how to use that function and what is the output of that function, but we don't know how that function will perform the task to display that message on the screen. उसकी inside story हमें नहीं पता होती, ठीक है? उसकी definition नहीं पता in short words के लिए. So a library is a package of code that is meant to be reused by many programmers. So C library के अंदर we have printf function, we have scanf function, we have system function, we have string functions, and where's the definition of all those functions? You can see the prototype of those functions in stdio.h or conio.h or string.h. These are the header files. In the include folder where you install your dev C++, but you won't be able to find the definition of those functions, and the definition of those functions we are in the C library. So we can also make a library that is called a user-defined library or user-made library. For example, a library package contains the function to add record, display record, modify record, and delete record. So you make this library that contains all these functions, and you then give this library to your client, for example, and he is using this in his, for example, school or shop or in his office. For example, if it is employee, then he's used in his office. If he is if you give it to the school, for example, your client is a school, then you have to make certain changes in the record. That is, it's a student record then. So you write the definition of the functions, of all those functions in this library, and then you give this library to your client, and then your client uses these functionality without knowing the code. So he don't know the code, but using your library, he knows he can use the functionality. And what is the functionality? The functionality is he can add record, he can display records, he can modify record, he can delete record, and so on. There are two kinds of library. Usually we have a static library and dynamic library. So a static library, also known as archive, consists of functions that are compiled and linked directly into your program. So when you compile a program that uses a static library, all the functionality of static library become the part of your executable file, right? So उसके library में उसके पास जितने भी functions हैं, that functions, when you compile and it produces the executable file of your program, then that file contains all the functionality of the library. So static library will be part of that executable file. One advantage of static library is that you only have to distribute the executable in order for the user to run your program. So आपके पास अब ऐसा नहीं होगा static library के केस में. For example, आपने static library बना ली है and you write a program for your customer. So it's not like this. You give it separately. This is the library and this is the program. In case of static library, you just give the executable file, ठीक है? And that executable file also contains the static library inside it, right? So the disadvantage is that it becomes the part of your program, so the size of the executable file is increased. उसका size जो है वो काफी बड़ा हो जाएगा. So let's say you made a static library of the functions add code, add record, display record, modify record, delete record, and all those functions for the employee, for example. And you make a static library, then you write a main function for a client A. उसकी requirement मुताबिक आपने function लिख दिया, program लिख दिया, then you compile that program, it produces the executable file. So in case of static library, you are only going to give that executable file to your client. Usually होता क्या है कि client को आप code नहीं देते. You won't give the programming code, the source code to the client. Just give the executable form of the program to the client. And if he wants any changes, then he will come back and contact you, and you make the changes and produce another executable file. So in case of shared library, you just have to give that executable file. There's no need to give the static library separately. ठीक है? So static library की जो होगी, that is not the C source. वो understandable form में नहीं होगा. If you want to open that static library in some editor, वो उसमें functions बने नहीं आ रहे होंगे. That is not understandable. Static library का एक disadvantage क्या है? Since it becomes the part of executable file, so the size of the file become very large. That is one of the main advantage and disadvantage of the static library. Okay. Now dynamic libraries. A dynamic library, also called a shared library, consists of routines. Routines mean functions that are loaded into your application at runtime. That means you call those functions in your program, then you compile your program, and when you execute your program, then it will call those functions from the static library. आप compile करेंगे, compile time पे वो check नहीं करेगा function exist करता है library में, नहीं exist करता, function है नहीं है, but अगर function नहीं है तो it will give you error at run time, that means executable time. So compile time का मतलब है कि आपके पास source code है, you compile it and the executable file is produced, then when you press the run button, then the execute file is executed, that is the run time. So when you compile a program that uses dynamic library, the library does not become the part of your executable file. So uska part nahi banegi. So the dynamic library is separate, your program exe file is separate. Jisme your program exe file means the program that contains the main function. Library chahe wo static ho, chahe wo dynamic ho, dynamic library also called a shared library that doesn't contains the main function. ठीक है, वो executable नहीं होती, लाइब्रेरी एग्जीक्यूटेबल नहीं होती. प्रोग्राम आपका जिसके अंदर मेन फंक्शन है दैट इज एग्जीक्यूटेबल एंड दैट प्रोग्राम यूजेस द फंक्शनैलिटी ऑफ द लाइब्रेरी एट रन टाइम. शेयर्ड लाइब्रेरी के केस में दैट लाइब्रेरी इज द पार्ट ऑफ द एग्जीक्यूटेबल फाइल. डायनेमिक लाइब्रेरी के केस में हमारे पास होता क्या है कि दैट dynamic library won't become the part of the executable file. Your executable file is separate, that contains the main function, and your dynamic library is separate. So dynamic library remains as a separate unit. One advantage of the dynamic library is that many programs can share one copy which save spaces. A bigger disadvantage is that the dynamic library can be upgraded to new version without replacing all of the executable that uses it. For example, static library के केस में you want to change modification, you want to modify your static library. आपने कुछ functionality modify कर दी उसकी. Now you have to, अब आपके client के पास जो exe file है, you have to give a new exe file to your client because static library is the part of the exe file. ठीक है? When you compile the program that uses the functionality of the static library, then that static library becomes the part of executable file. And later on, if you modify the library, then you have to give the executable file again to your client. But in case of dynamic library, if you modify the dynamic library later on, then you just gave that library again to your client, not the executable file. That is also the advantage of dynamic library. So okay, from the real life you can compare it, static and dynamic library, with the scenario that if you are going to your university in your own car, then that is the example like a static library. But if you take a train, right, if you take a train or a bus to go to your office, then that could be the example of a dynamic library. ठीक है? Now let's go and see that database management program, and let's see that how we can convert that program into static library. So we are not going into the details of the dynamic library, we just create a static library and check and see how we can use it, right? First I will give you a small example where we write two small functions in the library, and then we make a library, and then we make another project in which we include that library and call those functions from the main function, definition of the main function, and check whether they are executed or not. So this is your dev C++ editor. You go to file. Now we are going to create a shared library, okay, and in which we just have two functions, function 1, let's say function 1, and function 2. So you have to go to click file, then new, then project. When you click on the project, it will open the project window. This is a project window, and here you have Windows application, console application. So until now all our program are console application. हम जितने भी program बनाए हैं वो console application है. Why? Because that black screen is appearing, that is called console. So जितने भी program बनाए हैं जब वो execute होते हैं and they execute on that black screen, so these are called basically console applications. Then we have a static library, DLL, this is dynamic link library, and empty project. So we have to make a static library, so we just click a static library, click on the static library, and here you have to choose C project or C++ project. So C++ is an object oriented programming, but we are learning C here, so we just click C project. First you click static library, then you click C project, and then write the name of the project. The name of the project is, since it's a library, so we can say it's a small underscore lib, or we are making employee library emp underscore lib. emp underscore library, that is the name of my library जो मैंने employee के लिए बनानी है basically. बाद में मैं इसको extend करूँगा employee के लिए, but at the moment I will just write two functions, that is function 1 and function 2, and then click OK. Make sure that you have selected static library, you have selected C project, write some suitable name, and then click OK. Now it will ask you to save that library somewhere. So let's say we are going to save that library, and let me make a new folder over here. This is Introduction to Computer and Programming library. Okay, inside it we make a folder employee library, right? And inside that folder we save that library. Now you have to save that library. This is the name of the library that you have entered before in the previous window, and this is dev C++ project. So you save it. Now you can see the library over here. Now you have to add files in the library. Now we are going to add two files in that library. The first file is a .c file, and the second file is the header file, that is .h file. Now .c files contains the definition of the functions, and .h file contains the prototype of the functions. We also includes the usual header files like stdio.h or conio.h or string.h in that header file that we are going to create. And in the header file you can also write the definition of the structure. Definition structure की भी definition आप .h file में रखेंगे. So all those things that you want that your client knows, you should write those things in .h file. And all those things that you want to hide from the client, you can write it in .c file. So let's make those files. File, new, source file. We have already made a project. Now we are going to make a source file. So make a source file. Now it will display the message, add new file to the current project. And what is the current project? Current project is the employee library. अच्छा, ये जो employee library है, ये C library है, static library or dynamic library. Don't confuse it with the library, actual library in the university. Actual library is the collection of the book, and this library in C or Java or any other language, programming language, so that is the collection of the code, right? So add new file in the current project. Yes, the current project is emp underscore library that we have created. Yes, make it. Now save it. कहाँ पर सेव करेंगे? जहाँ पर आपने प्रोजेक्ट बनाया था. सो हमने ई ड्राइव में ICP के नाम से, ICP लाइब्रेरी के नाम से एक फोल्डर बनाया था, एंड देन इन एम्प्लॉय लाइब्रेरी, ये एम्प्लॉय लाइब्रेरी है, इसके अंदर हमने उस प्रोजेक्ट को सेव किया था. नाउ सेव दैट .c फाइल. इफ यू वांट टू सी दैट प्रोजेक्ट, यू कैन राइट लाइक दिस. ओके, .c फाइल एंड नेम इट. इसका कुछ नाम रख दें. लेट्स से emp underscore lib .c file. Save. Now create another file, add this file to the current project. Yes, add it and save it at the same place, and let the name is header file. Select header file. पहले आपने .c फाइल के नाम से सेव किया था, अब आपने .h सेलेक्ट किया और इसको .h के नाम से सेव कर देंगे. सॉरी, जस्ट राइट द नेम ओवर हेयर एंड सेलेक्ट द टाइप. टाइप इज .h फाइल. सो सेव इट. नाउ दिस इज .h फाइल एंड दिस इज .c फाइल. ठीक है. सो .h फाइल में वी हैव टू राइट what we usually include in our program, that is stdio.h or stdconio.h, these library, and then we write the definition of the function or the definition of the structure if there is any structure. So yes, we have a structure in the program, struct emp. That structure contains name, let's say 40 byte, and then integer value age, and then floating point value basic salary. So that is the definition of the structure. Now let's write the definition of the function, void function1, and the type of the parameter is also void, and the prototype of second function, let's say the name of the function is function2. We are passing an integer value to that function, and it also returns some integer value. Let's change it like this. Now with static libraries you have to use a word extern, extern, extern. ठीक है, आपको prototype लिखते हुए you have to write this word extern. Now this is what you have written in the .h file. Now in .c file you have to write the definition of this function. अब इस .c file के अंदर we have to write definitions, and we have to include that file. जो हमने अभी header file बनाई है emp.lib, we have to include that file in this .c file. So include it. Okay, now you know the difference between the double quotes, include with double quotes, and include with less than and greater than sign. So here हमारी ये जो .h file है, that is save on the same folder that contains emp.lib.c file, emp_lib.c file. ठीक है, उसी same folder के अंदर save है, तो we can write it in double quote emp_lib.h. double quotes का मतलब क्या है? double quotes means that it is the instruction to the compiler that look for the file emp_lib.h within the same folder in which emp_lib.c file is saved. ठीक है, so हमारे पास जो folder है, let's folder का structure भी आपको दिखा देता हूँ, computer e, and this is ICP folder, और ICP folder के अंदर we have employee library. अभी हम इससे just library बना रहे हैं. ठीक है, we have emp and emp lib. So this is the header file जो red के साथ शो हो रही है. So C header file, and this is C source file. So ये जो C source file है, ये इस header file को use कर रही है, ये उस header file को use नहीं कर रही जो कि C library का part है. So that's why you write the name of that, or you include this emp_lib.h file in this .c file with double quotes. Write this, and then just write the definition of these two functions. You just write printf hello, I am function1, right? Okay, let's write the definition of this second function. Int x, let me change the font size. Okay, hello, I am function2, and then we are returning some value, and that value is x multiplied by 2. So multiply x by 2 and return that value. Okay, so this is our library. Save it, and when you compile that program, now there is no run option, there is no compile and run option. The only option available is compile, right? So there is no run option, there is no compile and run option. The only option available is just compile. So you just compile this code and it produces the library. The message is creating emp_library.a. Now .a file is the static library file. If you come over here, now you can see this .a file, right? And if you want to open that file, let's see. So it is something like this. So not understandable. Okay, so let's close it. Now this is the folder where we have a library. So .a is the static library. Okay, now let's open a new window. I'm going to minimize it. Let's open a new dev.c window. Okay, because now we are going to create a project, main project, that contains the main function, and from where we are calling this static library function. Okay, now let's go and open this dev.c, a new window for dev.c. एक विंडो में हमारे पास लाइब्रेरी है और एक विंडो में हमारे पास main function होगा, main project होगा. Let's create a new project file, new, come to the project, and now this time it is a console application. Okay, this is not a static library, console application, and C project, and the name of the project is project_main. ठीक है, मैं इसका नाम इस तरह से रख दिया because it contains the main function. Click OK. Now it says me where to save. You can save it in the same folder where you have created a library. You can also save it in anywhere in your system. So I'm creating a new folder over here. The name of the folder is employee main. Okay, so this is library, this is main function, main program, and save it over here. Okay, now you can remove these functions. आप इन फंक्शन को हटा सकते हैं, and because we want to include emp_lib.h file, and we will provide the path for that file as well, because ये जो फाइल है ये इस फोल्डर के अंदर सेव नहीं है, मेन फोल्डर के अंदर सेव नहीं है. ठीक है, मेन फोल्डर के अंदर आपके पास वो main.c फाइल है, ये जो main.c फाइल है. Okay, this file is not saved. The static shows within the square brackets. You can see this static, and this static shows that this main.c file is not saved. So let's save this file. And where I'm going to save this file, in the ICP library folder, we have two folders, employee library and employee main, and in employee main I'm going to save this file. Now there is no square bracket and static, but if I make changes in the file, it show like square bracket and static. This means that the file is not saved. You can just press Ctrl S to save this file. Okay. Now let me change the main function. Okay, now we are going to call the functions. If you remember the prototype of the function, if you won't remember it, you can go to the other ID of the dev.c, that is this one. So this is the .h file. Okay, we are not going to use this employee structure at the moment. We are just using these two functions now, the function 1 and function 2. So these are the prototype. Now we are calling a function 1 from here, and we are calling function 2 in the printf statement, because function 2 returns you an integer value, and that value we want to print it on the screen. So that's why we are calling that function in the printf. And then function 2, and we are passing it value, let's say 12. So it multiply 12 by 2 and return it. Okay, okay, before compiling the program, you have to include that library in your project. ये जो project आपने बनाया है, to use the library you have to make a project. Until now we have creating a single source file, compiling that source file and execute it. But to use the static library or any kind of library in dev.c, you have to make a project in the dev.c, and you know the procedure of the how to create a project in dev.c. That is very simple. And now let's include the library. To include the library, Okay, you come to the menu project, then the project options. Click the project options, again project and project options, click over it. Now you see this project option window. Come to the parameters. Now at the linker portion you have to add a library. You see the button add library or object. Now we have to add library over here at the linker portion, so click this button, go to your library. We have saved this library. Library is .a file. Remember स्टैटिक लाइब्रेरी फाइल की एक्सटेंशन जो है वो .a के नाम से होगी, .a होगी एक्सटेंशन उसकी. जैसा C सोर्स कोड की फाइल हो तो उसकी एक्सटेंशन .c होगी. अगर ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग की सोर्स कोड फाइल हो तो उसकी एक्सटेंशन C++ होगी. नाउ कम टू दिस फोल्डर एंड दिस इज द लाइब्रेरी एंड यू कैन से ओपन इट एंड इट विल ऐड दिस लाइब्रेरी ओवर हियर. नाउ come to the directory tab. So these are the tabs: journal, file, compiler, parameter, and this is directory tab. Within the directory tab you have library directory, include directory, and resource directory. Now we have to provide the library directory and include directory as well, because we have a header file that is included in our main project. So library directory में आ जाएं. यहाँ पर आके library का जो path है कि library आपने कहाँ पर सेव की है, you have to write that path over here. So click this button. You have to write the path over here. Either you can type it and write over here, or you can browse that file. So for browsing you have to click this button. So ये जो button है इसको आपने click करना है. Click it. So this window will appear. Come to the computer. We have saved it in drive E, and in E we have ICP project, and within the ICP project we have employee library. So within employee library folder हमारे .a library मौजूद है. So we add it, click OK and then press add button. So उसने path add कर लिया. Similarly in the include library do the same process. Click on this button, go to the place where you have .h file, that is in the same folder where you have the library, that is employee library. Click OK and click add button. Now this path is also added. That आपकी header file जो है that is placed in C ICP library employee library के अंदर है. C ICP library employee library के अंदर आपकी actual library allocated है. Now click OK button. So again you have to come to the project option. You have to provide the parameters in the linker part. Click over here and add the library over here. In the directory you have to provide the library directory and include directory, and then click OK button. Now you can compile it. Compilation is done and you can execute the program. Now this is the output. So let me change it. We change the font size to this one. Now this is the output. Hello, I am function 1. Hello, I am function 2. And it prints the message 24 also. So when we call the function 1 में हमारे पास क्या message था? Function 1 में अगर आप इसकी definition में आए, the message is hello, I am in function 1. So that message is appear over here. Then we call the function 2 in the printf function. So first the function 2 will be called. So function 2 पूरा execute होगा. The first statement in the function 2 is hello, I am function 2. So in the output the first message appear is hello, I am function 2, and then it returns this value. It multiply the value we provide to function 2, that is 12. It multiply that value with 2 and return it. So when that value is returned, that value will be placed over this position जहाँ से हमने function call किया था, and then the printf function will be executed. So इस जगह पर आपके पास वो value print हो जाएगी, and that value is 24. So 24 is printed over here. Now what if you want to make any changes in the library? For example, आप library में change करना चाह रहे हैं. This is the library. You are saying okay, I want to print another message. That message is hello world. ठीक है, आप ये मैसेज प्रिंट करना चाह रहे हैं. Now the library, your function 1 has been changed. You have to save it and you just have to recompile it, and the message you will get is So it create a library. Then you can go to your project. This is your project. You can compile it and execute it. बिकॉज आपने लाइब्रेरी के अंदर चेंज की, लाइब्रेरी को कंपाइल किया, तो दोबारा नई .a फाइल क्रिएट होगी. दोबारा जब नई .a फाइल क्रिएट होगी, तो जब आप अपने मेन प्रोजेक्ट में उन चेंजेस को लाना चाह रहे हैं, उन चेंजेस को देखना चाह रहे हैं, देन यू हैव टू कंपाइल योर प्रोजेक्ट अगेन, because so that new .a file will become the part of your executable file. So when you execute your program, these changes will be appear. Now this is the output, and you can see the hello world message is displaying when you call the function 1, right? So that's it for today's lecture. In today's lecture we have seen the console IO formatting. We will apply this console IO formatting in the next lecture in our database management program. So in today's lecture, the major thing is that we have learned what is a library, what is a static and what is dynamic library, and how we can create a static library in Dev-C. So this is, you work professionally, that you create a library and you give that .a file with .h file to your client. ठीक है, या आप किसी को भी दे सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल क्लाइंट को नहीं, आप अपने आप ग्रुप पे अपलोड कर सकते हैं, अपने वेबसाइट पे अपलोड कर सकते हैं. दिस इज़ माय लाइब्रेरी एंड दिस हैज़ दिस फंक्शनैलिटी. सो यूजुअली आप जब भी कोई प्रोग्राम बनाते हैं, you give the library and the main file that is calling the function of these library to your client. So client don't know that what you write inside, what are the instructions that you have written inside add record function or display function or modify function or delete function. वो तमाम चीज़ें hide हैं. ठीक है? So that's it for the today's lecture. See you on next lecture. Thank you very much.